today. Or maybe it'll just help you recalibrate. Take your mind off all the stress that's going on around you. Come on, you ready? Let's go. Living out loud, living out loud. Living out loud, living out loud. Living out loud, living out loud. I want the world to know that I'm blessed. Hey, oh, hey, yeah, hey, oh, hey.
Hey, what's going on, people? It's Thurston O'Neill here. Thank you all for joining the Brothers Like Us on Living Out Loud radio TV show. Excited to be back with you guys one more time. And I see my man is joining me. Vaughn, how you doing, man? You all set up there, bro?
I'm getting all set right now. How's it going, man? How's everything?
Everything's well, man. Everything's well. A little tired. Had a busy day today. Doing a lot of work around the house and stuff. But other than that, I'm good, man. I'm actually excited about today's show to discuss this cryptocurrency that I absolutely have no idea about. Other than the little bit that Alan shared with us last week, I really know nothing about it. I remember you talking about it, and when we went to, I think you started telling me more about it when we went to New Orleans, and
Right.
really, really piqued my interest because you had something set up where you buy a little bit at a time and it keeps building. So I'm really interested.
But here's the facts on it. I was the one telling you about it, but I know personally so little about it myself.
Okay.
So I am looking to learn so that I actually know what I'm doing.
Excellent. So me too. I mean, I have never purchased any. I saw what Alan sent us, and I haven't read through it all, but I'm very, very interested in seeing how everything goes today and get some more information. I know now, who is it that you have joining us today?
So my cousin is actually coming on. My cousin EJ.
Okay.
He's actually, he works in this field. He's a trader.
Oh, okay.
He's a trader, and he started a program. He's the founder of a organization in the Charlotte area, Charlotte, Rock Hill, South Carolina area.
Oh, wow.
Where they're working with people and teaching people about crypto and about investing in general.
Oh, that's excellent. That's great. I can't wait for him to come on. I know Alan said he had some family stuff to attend to, so he may come on late. But listen,
always
a ram in the bush, bro.
Alan's the one that knows more about this subject than all of us, and he had to bail on us. He had to bail on us today. If not for my cousin coming on, we'd be looking like a bunch of.
We just be talking about something else, bro. Because exactly. I would not get on here and try to talk about it without someone that really knows what they're talking about. So let me do this. For anyone that is watching that comes on, please do this for us, and I'll share this several times because we want to be able to share your comments and your questions on screen. So what we're going to do, if you join the show at LOL Radio TV, that's at LOL Radio TV on Facebook, and you comment, we'll be able to share your comment. Also, if you follow us on our live YouTube stream, that's Living Out Loud Radio at YouTube, then you'll be able to share your comments, and we'll be able to share them on screen as well. And the last thing I wanted to do, okay, Rob C., I see you there. Thanks for joining us, man. Please join us. Go over to our YouTube page or our other Facebook page, which is LOL Radio TV, and we'll be able to share your comments. Comments left on my personal page will be able to be shared. And I also want to do this I know your cousin may have people that want to join, Vaughn, so I'm going to post this in the comments as well. So people will see this. If they want to join us on screen, they can click on that link. And the pastor is back with us, man. We missed you so
What's up, Pastor D?
Darren, how you doing, bro? How you doing, man? Can we hear you?
We can't hear you, Pastor.
We can't hear you. So
Okay, what about now?
Yeah,
you
now
good?
we hear
You
you.
good?
Now we hear you.
Okay, now
Welcome back.
praise God, good to be back. I can't see you guys though.
You can't see
Really?
us. We see you great. I mean, nice and crystal clear.
All
What is that?
coordinated and everything today.
I know. TIGNF. What's the TIGNF?
The International Good News Fellowship.
Yes,
Okay,
baby.
of course.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You're looking good, man. You're looking like a college graduate, bro.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
coming,
close.
baby.
I'm getting close, man. I'm so close, man. It's not even funny. I'm so close.
We're excited for you, man. You got me looking for different programs I need to join, man. I gotta go for my next degree now, man. You showed me that it's doable, man. And I look at my schedule. I know my schedule is crazy busy, but I know I could fit this in and really get it done because I'm watching you do it, man. I'm watching you do it every week, bro. Every week. It's exciting. How you feeling?
I'm feeling real good, man. I'm marveling at how I have just learned so much about God on this journey, man. It's unbelievable. And you talk about your schedule and things you got to do and et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know if I told you guys this, but this thing was like I had decided that this was going to be something that I would just go to my grave with never having done.
Uh-huh.
I was just going to live with it. And but that's what I said. That's not what God said. And that's what I came to realize. Okay, no, that's what you said.
Right.
That is not what God said. And just the way he made it happen, he used my wife as a catalyst. I'm going to tell young people, I've been telling them this, but I'm more even committed to it. It really does matter who you marry. It really does.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Yeah.
And for the brothers, there's your. Oh, I don't want to be. I don't want to be inappropriate, but there's your physical seed. There's your literal seed, and there's your figurative seed.
Right.
And you got to be careful where you are placing your seed.
Where you plant your seed. You can say it.
Okay, I'm just trying to be, I don't want to. I mean, if I was at church, I would go for it because there's no holds barred, man. I mean,
right,
they know.
right.
And if they looking funny, I'm going harder until they get it. Okay, so they know.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Pastor, we got it. But you have to be careful where you plant your seed, even your philosophical seed, the seed of your dreams, the seed of your talents and abilities. So you got to be careful where you plant your seed. And you want to plant your seed in a place that is capable of, number one, catching it. Okay. If I'm listening, if there's any young brothers listening to us, okay, you want to be with a sister that can catch your vision for life. Now, if you don't have no vision, then you need to leave her alone till you get one. Okay? So you need to be with a sister that can catch your vision for your life, who can catch you as a visionary, understand you, okay, and then not only catch it, but hold that thing and nurture it in her womb until it's time for it to be given birth back. And all those years, my wife knew that I hadn't finished, but she never judged me on it. She never condemned me. She never evaluated the legitimacy of my manhood based upon that. She's just, okay, it is what it is. We're going to move on anyway. But then at the right time, because I don't know if it was intentional with her or whatever, but the right time, because she was holding that seed, she was the one that God used to birth it.
Yeah.
He was the one that said, you got to go back and finish.
And now's the time. And Pastor, listen, this is something that Pastor Bernard spoke about a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like last week, about God's plan and God's timing and how he puts things in place. Yes, he knows exactly what he has for you, but certain things has to happen before certain things can be released or even opened up to you. And what you're speaking about is that exact same thing, man. Like, you planted that seed, that figurative seed, and she held it and then spoke to it at the right time. And now we're seeing the fruits of it.
So here's the crazy part. I never said to her that I want to go back and finish.
Wow.
I just carried with me the stigma of never having finished.
Mm.
So here it is again. You want to be partnered with someone who's able to even take the things that are so painful that you can't even articulate and deal with it and come alongside you and say, hey, this is what needs to happen. And so unbeknownst to me, and I say this specifically to you, Thurston, based on what you said, God had already paved the way for this thing to happen.
Right.
And when he said it's time, see, his timing is so critical. When he said it's time, the provision was already in place. It was already there.
So listen, I'm not. You know what? I shouldn't even start talking to you first, man, because you're gonna take us. You're gonna take us somewhere that we're not planning on going. But I'm coming back to you, Reg. It is so good to see you, brother. So good to see. Listen, this is like a homecoming today because we've missed you for a few weeks. We've missed Pastor Darren for a few weeks, and I know you guys were handling stuff that you had to handle. But we truly miss you, man. There's a void when you guys are not here. Of course, we keep moving, but it's not the same without you. So I gotta say, welcome back and thanks for jumping on, Reg. I missed you, brother. I love you, man.
Yes, I missed you guys too, man. It's been you guys know it's been a hard couple of weeks. Last couple of weeks, most of it I've been very, very quiet. I had to be. When things happen that kind of shifts your life a little bit, you have to reevaluate almost everything, relationships, just a lot of things. So I just really kind of stayed quiet, and just kind of reestablishing some things. I got my mom here for a week.
Okay, nice.
I won't be able to stay on too long because
that's fine.
But I had to come on because it's been too long.
I'm glad you found your way back today, bro. I really.
But I missed you, brothers. Also, we been keeping up with our text messages and
yes,
and Pastor Darren's writing skills.
Exactly.
Trying to catch up with him. Let me just say how proud we are of you, Pastor.
Yes.
How inspired we are by you. And just thank you. Thank you for sharing with us your journey.
It's so great to see even our listeners, man. They're congratulating you. They're saying welcome back to you. Louisa, thank you so much for joining us today. Saying welcome back to Minister Reggie and asking how he's doing. Portia, thank you so much for chiming in, for checking in on us. It means a lot. It does. We talk about how important it is for us as men, as brothers, to have people we can reach out to, especially in those difficult times. Yes. And Reg, we all understand going through difficulty, and sometimes you gotta quiet yourself, quiet your spirit, settle in.
Let me, if I may, what I've learned really through this season is how important prayer is that you receive.
Man.
When people say they're praying for you, that's one thing, but when you feel it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in my quiet time, I knew people were praying. And the power of those prayers really kept me and my family going, you know what I mean? So it was overwhelming, but the prayers kept me.
That's
and I wouldn't, I know Ernesto's away, he'll be back tonight, but he's been an incredible support, physically, like his prayer. He's been there. He came to my sister's service, and he's been, so there's the physical part, but there's the spiritual part.
Yeah.
I came in on Pastor talking about figurative and literal seeds.
Yeah.
And we experienced that through prayer. Like when people are saying they're praying for you and you believe it. I remember years ago when God told me, whenever somebody asks you for prayer and you say you're going to pray for them, if you should pray for them at that moment.
Right.
Because, we go home and we forget, you know what I'm saying? So I remember the first time he spoke that to me, I was in the mall and a brother came up to me and he was going through something. He said, just remember to pray for me. I stopped everything. We prayed right there in the middle of everybody shopping.
Wow.
And it was powerful. And I realized that it's important to when people ask you for prayer, or when God puts it on your heart to pray, those prayers, God really takes those prayers and answers people's needs.
Yes.
So prayer is absolutely critical. And I just want to thank like Louisa, she's been reaching out to me, and just you brothers, and thank you, for everyone who's watching, who understood. And it wasn't just my sister, there was a whole bunch of other people,
right,
that we lost, some friends that I lost. I got the opportunity. I don't know if you know the brother. He was an incredible man. When his son is on my step team, he passed away out of nowhere,
wow.
And I had the opportunity to do his service, and it's been back to back,
Right.
So, but I'm grateful to be able to be here, even for the few minutes that I get. But I just want to thank you, Thurston, for this platform, for Vaughn, for Randy, for Ernesto, for you, Pastor. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you see, Louisa, it's funny, even as you talk about, everything you were going through, you're still talking about how you still were going to minister to other people, right? You were still ministering to others in the midst of your trying time. And Louisa's comment sums it up. Mr. Reggie, your powerful prayers on the prayer line each morning keep me going and encouraged. That's truly what ministry is about, man. Even in our most difficult times, we're still serving people. So again, we can't say it enough how much we love you, how much we've missed you and appreciate you. But yes, we have been praying for you. And Randy, my dude, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brothers. Good to see you guys. I see we got a couple of guests here. We got that. That's what they say, Pastor Darren, and Minister Reggie,
We're guests now.
Nah, man, I appreciate your brothers, man. I miss you guys a lot, man. And I'm just thankful. Just thank God always for your guys' life and coming into my life. Like I often say, with Minister Reggie, we just knew each other through the passing, in the church. Never really got a chance to sit down or talk or stuff like that or anything. And then Pastor Darren, the first time I met him was on this show. But, we have had a chance to, conversate, off the show,
right.
And talk. So it been really a blessing. Some things I was going through and had questions about, I was able to call him about it, talk to him about it. And so, it's just been truly a blessing knowing your guys. Like I say, I always look forward to this this day, Sunday, this day. And I must admit, I get a little upset when everybody's not able to be on it. I know y'all guys are busy and you're visiting and stuff like that. And I'm like, God, and I get the message, I got this, I'm going to be ministering here, and I'm like, oh man, come on. What's up with this? You got to minister something. What are you ministering on this show?
Randy, something is wrong with you, dude. Something is wrong with you, bro.
but I understand it.
Of course.
It's just my closeness.
You look forward to this time. Yeah.
For the time. When I understand it and I take it in stride, it's good. I mean, and I just thank God for, like I said, your guys being in my life. I have been encouraged. A lot of things that y'all just don't know, in this walk, you just sometimes you just like feel like just like throwing in the towel,
Yep.
You just get tired of being tired, and you just want to like just throw the towel in, man, But then you able to come together and you really get the understanding of the iron sharpening the iron and encouraging one another and keeping
what it really means.
Keeping each other up. You know, so that's the important thing about it for me. So and like I said, just going around and just being able to listen to Sister Louisa being on the show every week, and Sister Portia coming on every week, and our sister that does the Nicole.
Yep.
She's on every week, and to support, your encouragement, and Adrian, Dr. Simmons, she
right,
and stuff like that. So it's all good, man. I really, really appreciate it, and feel encouraged by it,
Thurston, can I comment?
Absolutely. Dive right in.
I want to comment on something that Randy said that is so very powerful to me. Right? He talked about, like, times that we go through when we want to give in, or and as men, we don't talk about that much, right?
Right.
We go through our struggles. But I have this powerful image. It's been with me for a very, very long time. Planted by a friend of mine who ministered to me before I was ever saved. I was like maybe 15 or 16, and she's married to my cousin today, but we were all young. She was younger than me. She ministered Christ to me when I was 15. She must have been like 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
She ministered Christ to me. And I remember her and her sister, I think I shared this before, her and her sister invited me upstairs. I was outside drinking with my friends, but we were talking about God, right? And she overheard the conversation, and they invited me up to their house. And I was like, that's a mistake. Why they invite me up to their crib? Right. But I went up there, and they ministered Christ to me. And I'll never forget this picture that they painted. And they said, Reggie, you know what you are? You're like a little baby that's learning how to walk. And as you're walking, you keep falling, and the Father is trying to pick you up, but you're stubborn. You won't let him pick you up until you fall hard enough and you hurt yourself to the point where you ask, right?
Right.
That image has stayed with me because now we become grown men. But whatever fabric of life that you're in, whether you're a business person, whether you're a CEO, whether you're, you have intellectual, crazy unlimited intellect, right? We never outgrow God, right? We always are going to remain his children. We are always going to remain his sons. And I think the same is true spiritually. We still try to walk sometimes without him until we fall hard enough.
Right.
We ask him, God, can you, right? And I think it shows up in the friendships. I think it shows up in the brotherhood. I think it shows up in people like Louisa and Nicole and Portia and all these people who continue, God uses to bring into our lives to uphold us through prayer and through friendship, through relationships. So that image never leaves me. So even Randy, like when you said, I don't even know if I know how to. Sometimes I feel like I want to know what the feeling of giving up is. I don't even know what that is anymore. Like God has removed that option. It's not. I can't. Every time I try to I'm not going to do anything today. He puts it in you where you can't. It's he gives you the spirit to just live, right?
Right.
So I just wanted to comment on that because that's the image that kind of stays with me. That
I love that
he brought relationships because he's still moving in those relationships to pick us up whenever we feel like we do want to give up, or we do want to give in, or we're tired, or we're weary. Scripture says, "Be weary not in doing good." Why would God say that? Because he knows it's going to happen, right?
Right. Exactly.
So Randy, thank you for sharing that, man.
I love that. I appreciate that. And so we're gonna move on, but just on that, you're absolutely right. As I think about Randy talking about speaking with Pastor Darren, first of all, I wish I was a fly on the wall for those conversations. Can you imagine the conversations between Randy and Pastor Darren off the line? Lord have mercy.
Which by the way, I didn't mean to cut in, but I had to say this. Randy was being very modest and humble when he talked about things he's been able to talk with me about, but it's been reciprocal. And the truth of the matter is, he has been such a big brother in this. I don't even think it's been a year yet since we've connected. Right. He's been such a big brother to me, man, personally, that it's just been incredible. And even most recently, things I've been going through with my daughter. Reggie's been praying for me, and Randy's been counseling me. So it's been a two-way street.
Listen, that's who Randy is. So, and that's what intrigued me about his comments is that everyone goes to Randy for counsel. I know that. It's just a natural thing. People are drawn to him for that. And it made me feel good to hear him say that he had someone, and I know he has other people in his life, but it feels good to hear him say that he has someone that he could share with, when he's going through. So I say all of that just to clear the space for us to invite our brother over, EJ. So Vaughn, I'm gonna let you introduce EJ.
So EJ, thank you for being able to sit by and watching us love on one another. We are brothers who genuinely care for each other.
Right.
And a couple of us haven't been around for a couple of days, so we had to get that out the window. EJ is my cousin, or should I say, he is my mother and his grandmother were cousins, which makes EJ like, what am I, fourth, fifth cousin or whatever? But it's all good. He's like my cousin because his dad, who is a bishop down in Rock Hill.
Okay.
So EJ is a PK, He's a PK. His dad always been my big cousin, and I've been watching EJ over the past few years on Facebook as he's really been getting involved. He's really not been, but he's been heavily involved in investing, and in particular, what we wanted to talk about today was crypto. EJ, our conversations every week, we cover the gamut from sports to music to current events to politics, and always everything is interwoven with faith, as we are all men of faith, and sometimes faith dominates the conversation. But speaking of faith, God wants us to live wonderful lives and have life abundantly, and part of that abundant living is to be financial stewards and financially wise and have ourselves set up. So we've been wanting to tackle finances, and cryptocurrency is the hot thing right now, and we are all complete novices, or even less than novices when it comes to the subject. So I wanted to introduce EJ Gilliard, my cousin, who is one of the founders of the Carolina Crypto Collab. Did I get it right?
That's it. Yes, sir. That's it.
All right.
And absolutely.
So I want him to come in, explain what that is, and then start this discussion and starts teaching us men who have no knowledge of what we're talking about.
No, definitely. I really appreciate you, cuz, for just allowing me the platform, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. One thing that I've learned in my very, very young 30 years of life is to continue to be teachable. And so I never want to feel like I'm on my high horse at all. I always want to be able to be teachable, because that's how I was raised. I was raised to have two ears and one mouth. And so I definitely appreciate you all for the opportunity and the time. And yes, as you stated, I'm one of the founders of Carolina Crypto Collab. How good can y'all hear me?
Very well.
Okay. If y'all ever hear any feedback, definitely stop me and let me know. I don't want to start going and then there's a lot of feedback. Just want to be certain of that for you. And so I'm one of the founders of Carolina Crypto Collab. We just recently got established on it, and we put it on paper to make it make sense. So the reason for it is a lot of our people want to now be more financially educated, and these are things that we weren't taught in the regular curriculum, the regular public curriculum. And so I really do feel like these are a lot of things that it's never too early, but then also it's never too late to learn. A lot of people nowadays are starting to learn about the digital world that we're in. And so whether you're 12, 13, 35 older year in age, it's never too late to learn something new, especially in this new world of cryptocurrency. People think of the cryptocurrency world as just an investment tool, when it's absolutely not. there are so many different moving parts to really understanding cryptocurrency. Because what we want to do in our movement is bring awareness to that. We don't want to just beat down the notion of you can invest this to gain this. You know, there's so many different utilizations of crypto that aren't really talked about. You know, social media gives you the stigma that you can invest something to gain something. So I call that, me personally, I call that social media investing. You see a Facebook post from a friend, oh, let me get into Dogecoin right now. But you don't really fully understand what it is, but people are making money from it. And so I just kind of feel like there's so much more that we can do as a people to better educate ourselves and do our due diligence and vet people. You know, I don't want to just take somebody's word for it. I want to see if that makes sense for my situation and for my life, you know. So when we go and do events, I don't want to just have them follow our movement, but get a chance to see what we're about, you know, follow a lot of the things that we're doing, to see if that's something that is conducive to your current lifestyle. So what is cryptocurrency? You know, cryptocurrency is literally a digital currency. So when you hear the word crypto, you're literally talking about a digital form of payment, a currency being a form of payment. So when people talk about, oh, crypto, you can invest in, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, but you got to remember this originated somewhere, and so the origin of Bitcoin goes about over a decade, you know, so all the way back to 2008. So here's how that started. There was a lot of things happening in the economic world during that time, that caused people to want to be a little bit more creative. So somebody basically said, or a group of people, I personally think it's a group of people, not just a person, but a group that said, hey, let's come together, let's build something different that nobody else is talking about. But what is the niche right now? It's not hand to hand more than it is digital, you know? And so they want to figure out what kind of process can we use to create our own economy, which is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin decided to be the very first. So Satoshi Nakamoto, I'm gonna give you quotes because that's a group, in my opinion, a group. But Satoshi Nakamoto was the creator of Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, and so that is the first of its kind. And so it started as a peer-to-peer currency. So you could literally go out and purchase a pizza or a TV or an album from somebody for a couple Bitcoin. And so nobody thought it was going to actually gain any kind of monetary value, legitimate monetary value back then. People were splurging on it, you know. And so they decided to take that exchange of digital currency, and turn it into what's considered now the blockchain. So I'm gonna give y'all certain terms today that's really, really important. I don't have many visuals, but I just want to kind of let y'all hear a lot of the terminology I'm gonna give today.
Keep in mind that we are real novices.
And
Okay.
And EJ, can I ask if we do have a question as you're talking? If something comes up in our head as you're talking, and we have a question, is it okay if we sort of pause and ask that question of you?
Yes, sir. I would absolutely love for this to be an open forum. If this can be like an open forum, I'm all for it. Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because you know, I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, what does that mean? Okay, what is that? You know,
right.
Absolutely. You know,
Great.
for me, you know, YouTube videos, they serve this purpose, but I needed to actually sit in front of somebody and be like, okay, let me ask some live questions to you. So yeah. So the thing about cryptocurrency is the sole purpose is to make transactions to people. More than it is now, where a lot of the sole purpose people think it's just an investment tool, where you actually it's meant to be a means of exchange. And so with cryptocurrency, there are so many things that have to be backed to make the price move. So when you think about what needed to happen to get it to be established on the open market, to be like a public ledger on the open market, it needed to have volume of people exchanging from person to person. It needed to actually carry some kind of weighted value to be able to be legitimate. So it gave it about a few years. People called it a scam. People called it, you know, this is something that's not tangible. I can't hold it. Something that I really don't feel is a very, very legitimate value to me. The U.S. dollar is going to do what it does. It's gonna you know, buy me a burger the next day. Is Bitcoin going to do it? So, you know, a few years go by. And a lot of investors, top tier investors, decide to really go into thinking about, hey, is this something that could actually grow legs and get hit to the open market? So what happened was a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts wanted them to bring out some more legitimate reasons to make it go public. So they had something called white papers. The white paper is like the actual business plan or mission or idea for that coin. So, nowadays coins go in, like, if you know the stock market, the stock has like an IPO, like an initial public offering. And so coins actually have like an initial coin offering. And so, in this stage, being Bitcoin is the first of its kind, they wanted it to go public in a sense to gain some kind of legitimate value. They have white papers. They set that up with the tech with a little bit of an idea on their blockchain. So the blockchain is their technology that helps their movements of their volume from exchanging from person to person. It helps them exchange and also keeps their stability of their currency to where they can actually keep it in the open market and have what's called a market cap or the market capacity. So it gives them their actual value for that coin. So when they went public, we're talking, it goes public into the actual, not New York Stock Exchange, but the actual fiat currency, the sort of fiat currency market. Because, there's the stock market for the New York Stock Exchange, then there's the currency market, so they actually went and got traded into the currency market, so that Bitcoin is now being legally traded over the US dollar. Then they actually had to create what's called an exchange rate. That exchange rate turned into a couple cent, maybe a little bit under a penny when it first came out. But the more it actually grew in, again, volume, meaning the amount of people exchanging from crypto to crypto to Bitcoin to Bitcoin for any goods or service, for anything, whether it be a TV, pizza, they still made that exchange, but they had to first initially get it in the open market to buy it and gain value that way. So there were several different ways you could buy crypto during that time. Remember, I was saying this person to person before it hit the market. And so it had to actually be exchanged. I don't have it with me, but it's like a USB key. They called it like a ledger key to keep your information secure and safe. So that was the wave back then. And so as we go along, cryptocurrency grew legs. You got your landline, you got your big ugly gray cell phone, and then you got your smartphones. And so now people are kind of getting an idea of what the blockchain is and what its purpose is going to serve. And now they want to evolve. Okay, cool. Bitcoin is great. Now Bitcoin is doing this. Now, can we duplicate that? Can we turn this into maybe another entity or another kind of cryptocurrency? So now you have other derivatives of crypto. Now you have maybe something like Ethereum, Litecoin, the Dogecoins of the world. But now they have their own sole purpose, their own white papers to their own mission plan. And what are you trying to do with this coin? Bitcoin's sole purpose was to create, some kind of unique situation for those who are trying to get out of certain situations, or people who are trying to, learn about digital transactions. So I'm reading here as well. Somebody said, "Can you talk a little bit on?" I can't read it. Can somebody read that?
I got you. Can you talk a little bit about the current security aspects of blockchain technology for cryptocurrency? And I have a question after you address that. I have a question also, but go right ahead. Thanks, Pastor Darren, for that question.
Absolutely. So with blockchain technology, it's all set up through algorithms. It's all algorithmic. And so there's literally cryptocurrency coders who have helped develop, or this called coin developers, that help create certain aspects of the coin so that it's very encrypted. So it's very secure. And so the most secure thing to do is to have like a USB or a ledger key to actually store your coins in. It's better to have it offline than to have it online nowadays, because there's certain things you can do to secure yourself with that. Now, in terms of the investment tool, I would say that's the best route to go if you want to choose to do that. Now, exchanging wise, there are different exchanges. There are different platforms that are also really good, that are online, that are very encrypted too, that are very secure. But the blockchain in itself has it's an algorithmic system that allows you to just basically exchange. Also, you get the opportunity to invest into different coins all at once. So you're not just investing in the Bitcoin, but you can invest into various other different cryptos along with it. Now, with Bitcoin being the very first, there are now over 5,000 plus crypto out there in the open market right now that's public.
So,
Yep.
so how do you judge? Because there's so many coins out there now,
Right.
and and it makes your head spin every time I look into it. How do
Right.
you judge what is, what is valuable, what is fake, what is, just something somebody's coming up with and just looking for suckers?
Yes. And also somebody asked if Cash App and Venmo is under that same category. I'm answer that as well. But also, and to look at the value, there's a few things you want to look for. You want to look for the actual market cap. What is the market cap of that crypto? Now, what does market cap mean? That is the actual valuation. That's what the market is valuing, not the price of the coin, but the total market value valuation of that crypto. For example, Bitcoin right now is sitting at the trillions of dollars in its market cap, whereas other smaller coins are sitting at the billions. For example, Dogecoin or Tron. The smaller priced coins are sitting around, maybe 76 billion or 4 billion for some. But that is the actual like market cap value for that coin. I look at that. I also look at its backing. Like, what is it actually trying to do? What is the utilization? Like, what is the what kind of utility do you have with cryptocurrency for this day and age? Like, for example, to give you an example, Dogecoin. Everybody went and had a huge hype over Dogecoin, but see, there are a few mistakes with that I hope I'm gonna answer some questions on this one right here too, because Dogecoin is a big buzz that kind of took a decent drop. So with Dogecoin, it was literally pushed by a billionaire. It's been around for 7 years. It started in 2013. Started in 2013. But nobody really heard about it or really knew too much about it. But it was sitting a little bit under two cent, a coin. So it was sitting under about 2 cents a coin. And it really doesn't have any backing, any legitimate backing other than it's being run by the people. So this goes to show, fellas, that if we go and take a large amount of people and invest in something, we're called retail investors. So we have a lot of power on our end to move the market. So that's all that happened. They don't have any legitimate backing but to be run by the people. And so when they actually went through and had a whole load of buyers on Robinhood, that drove the price to almost $1. And so being that said, people made a lot of money in that wave because they didn't just have one Dogecoin. They had like 10,000s and thousands of Dogecoins at that time. And so, with that, people want to look for things that actually have a movement or have a backing. In my honest opinion, I would want to look for something that actually has a long-term goal. For example, there are some coins that actually have started as a tech company or a startup. I'm all for those because they actually have something they're going for on the long term. There are certain companies and certain coins that go through a certain audit that helps them, be legitimate and has a long-term plan. And so compared to Dogecoin that was pushed by a billionaire and then it kind of made a drop, people were kind of wondering, why can't I really cash out like that on Robinhood? Well, because Robinhood isn't absolutely the best platform to use for cryptocurrency. It's not very compatible, and it's not the best platform to use. Now, I'm gonna recommend some to y'all, but yeah, Robinhood is not one of the best apps to use crypto-wise. That's a stock oriented app to use. And so some people who want to invest into different things, you got to have certain compatibility for it.
So it sounds to me, and again, total novice at this.
Okay.
And so I worked not doing stocks, but I worked at an organization where there were a bunch of traders and everything. And we would hear about these IPOs coming out, right? There wasn't a lot behind this IPO, but a lot of hype. And they would hype it up and it would come out and it would come out at a high price and they would buy it up. But then all of a sudden it would drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear you talk about the how cryptocurrency was developed, how it came about. It's almost as if they created something out of nothing. Like there was nothing there, and they had this idea, and then the more people that you got to come on board and say, "Hey, I'll try this," or "Let me see what's going on with it," the more that the I guess market share or whatever grew, the more it grew. So, and I think that is part of the question about how do we know what's legitimate? How do we know what's sort of a scam? It sounds like Bitcoin was the first, and it sounds like it's probably the most stable at this point. Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree. So the thing about Bitcoin, nobody's that I know is going to go out now, and from then to now, who would have thought we're at $37,000 a coin? And so nobody now is going to actually go up and say, "Oh, let me buy one Bitcoin right now." Now people are going to try to look into getting certain increments of it. Let alone, let's not talk about the investment side of it right now. Just go into like regular transactions. So there's a few guys in my in our team right now in Carolina Crypto Collab. We call it Triple C. So in Triple C, we actually have an actual person who has created his own crypto. He's got his own coin called Kenko. We also have a guy who has his own POS system, his own cryptocurrency POS for making payments for business owners. So not only does he have an option for Bitcoin, but he has several other different coins in his ledger. If somebody wants to buy a T-shirt, they can go and say, "Okay, let me scan this QR code, or scan his POS code, and boom, I got $25 worth of crypto to buy this T-shirt." And so in that way, I would say right now you got to have more utilization for crypto other than just to invest into. However, if you do invest in crypto, you want to look for the market cap value. You want to look for the actual backing. What's this utility? Like, what is it going to do long term? Also, in a sense, what's the sleeper? What's the one that you think is going to be more legitimately backed? What is something that's going to actually give it more face value? I just saw one of the questions saying, when do you think the currencies? Well, when do you think crypto is going to be more of a stable currency? I do think that there's going to be a time where it's not going to be valued in the same way that you see the traditional fiat currency, like the US dollar. It's not going to be in that kind of way. Here's what I think about cryptocurrency. The US dollar, this may be a terrible analogy, but the US dollar is the landline phone. Whereas, cryptocurrency is your cell phone. You still got the landline's still available. It serves its purpose. It's still around. But then you also have a cell phone. You also have something that is more digital or could be more mobile. That's going to give you, a different evolution of currency. So basically, cryptocurrency is in the space right now to give you more versatility in making payments. So not necessarily just an investing tool more than it is just a form of payment. So there are all different kind of coins out now because people are trying to create their own payment processor. People are trying to create their own processor. But like, for example, the guy that's on our team now, Triple C, he has Kenko. I'm going to type it in as well. That's actually, one of his movements to create environmental wealth. And so he wants to create something that's, great for the community. And so his idea of, creating this coin was to reach out to our community, but also be able to be versatile to see, okay, how can we bring back Black Wall Street? What can we do to bring back a lot of things that they try to take away from us? You know what I mean? So in this way, cryptocurrency is a benefit because it gives us the opportunity to, like you say, create something out of nothing, but also have something to back it other than like a general asset that we all know, like gold. Like the gold standard is being backed by some countries, some currencies, as well. So, we want to have something like the blockchain to be our backing, So I see other questions too. And I hope that makes sense for y'all. Does that help as well?
No, it does. It does. And something that you just said, EJ, sort of sparked something in me. Because we always talk about Black wealth and really keeping our finances in our communities. And so, and you mentioned like one of your guys came up with Kenko. Is there a digital currency that has been marketed specifically to Black and brown people? Is that something that, because we really could create our own economy if everybody got on the same currency, correct?
Absolutely.
Or am I wrong? Am I thinking about it wrong?
Oh no, sir, you're absolutely right, and that's something that kind of baffled me. Like, where's the movement with this? Cryptocurrency is still in its infant stages, based off of what we're in right now in our economic state. It's still in its infant stages, and so there's so much that we can do as a people. People talk about group economics. This would be the absolute best way to establish something like that. Having an actual coin that can be set public into the open market. And so cryptocurrency is literally in its own industry right now. And so now we've branched off to DeFi and NFTs, which is very high within the music industry and artwork. And so, and I can expound on that a little bit later as well. But see, dealing with cryptocurrency now, it is extremely volatile. And so to answer the question as well from Mr. Darren, it is absolutely a correction right now. With a lot of things in the market right now, there's a lot of correction that's trying to make up for heavy pushes in the uptrend or the bullish market. So it's been trying to, people who invest, that's just a natural thing. They think, okay, I'm investing in something and it's going to keep on going up. There's going to be the correction periods in the market, So I do encourage, if nobody's trying to learn how to day trade or learn how to really, get into that kind of market, and trade, I think they just should at least learn how to read charts, so that if they do invest in something, they know how to read what they're trying to get into, and it doesn't take a lot. It's a great, skill set and benefit to have. At least learn how to read charts, But yes, I do think this is a correction period. When I say correction, meaning, what goes up must come down. What goes up must come down. There's a certain correction period that's got to make up for it. Now, will it go all the way down to zero? Absolutely not. It's just usually there's a certain period of exhaustion that takes place where the market's got to try to compensate for certain heavy pushes that take place. You rev the engine heavy enough, it's going to cool down sooner or later. It's got to. So, and I see. So it says, I can't see.
You asking a question?
I'm sorry. I had muted myself. What EJ was saying about correction. Now I'm a novice investor when it comes to crypto. I really just started at the beginning of about a year ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, started with Bitcoin and then slowly got into some of the other coins and investing. And I saw a tremendous growth, maybe, I don't know, maybe quadrupled of my investments, maybe quadrupled until, over the past few months. I think I've lost probably maybe about 35% of where I was at the beginning of the year or something of nature, but I'm still above, what my investments, and I'm trying to do it long term. Although if EJ has a tip that can make me rich next week, I'll take it.
I got you, cuz. I got you back.
And does that work the same way? So in the regular stock market, isn't it sort of illegal to be giving certain tips out before news comes? Does it work the same way with crypto?
So with crypto, it does, especially with crypto, because that's one of the most unpredictable, untapped portions of the market that nobody really fully quite understands completely quite yet. People say, is Bitcoin going to get to 100,000? Is Bitcoin going to get to 50,000? Well, we got that, but nobody really fully knows because when I read charts, I look for highs and lows. There's really no way to gauge certain highs and lows of the crypto market, because there's certain things that haven't quite been hit yet. There's all-time highs that's been completely hit. So that's a great question right there too. Is the SEC regulating crypto like the so officially? Cryptocurrency is not meant to be a security. However, it's being treated like that. For those who don't know what a security is, the Securities Exchange Commission is something that is really, really trying to crack down on cryptocurrency right now, especially some of the smaller coins like XRP and Ripple, because of the way that people are investing into them. So when you say security, you're investing into some kind of financial instrument for some kind of capital gain. And so, in a way, cryptocurrency does make that kind of function, but the sole purpose is to be a means of exchange. And so the SEC is really trying to crack down, as well as the IRS trying to crack down on cryptocurrency purchases and exchanges to centralize it. But that's the only thing about it. Cryptocurrency in itself is decentralized. I mean, it doesn't have a central control from government institutions, and so that causes it in itself to be very, very difficult to control, to handle. Does that help kind of understand it that way?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Here's another question, if I can.
Yes, sir.
So your analogy about landlines and cell phones was actually excellent. I'm going to have to borrow it as a preacher. I'll give you the royalties later on. There are some that are of the school of thought that eventually landlines will go completely away. So in light of the analogy that you used, whereby paper currency is like landlines and crypto is like cell phones, do you see paper currency giving way to digital currency? And this word is very important. How soon?
Okay. Yeah. So
how soon do you see it happening?
So, because I get a lot of questions on, is the dollar going to be obsolete? Are we going to still be using it? So, like in itself, I think that the dollar is going to be around in the way that it's going to be exchanged digitally. Like right now, I can go to the gas station, offer to send them cash to get gas, but they say, hey, do you have the chip on your card to pay for gas right now, or do you have the the scanner to scan your code for gas? Like I got paper currency, but they would prefer for me to, especially because of COVID, because to scan my card. But even pre-COVID, the transactions were a lot more digital in the way that paper currency is kind of just in display right now. That's kind of like a display form of what you currently own, where it's more accepted to have a more digital transaction right now. And so I would say how soon, I would expect it to be maybe the next, not 5, I would give it another 10. I give it another decade, because we're still trying to acclimate to cryptocurrency right now. I walked into a gas station a couple of days ago. There's a Bitcoin ATM. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
so yeah, it's right down the street. So at Circle K, there's a Bitcoin ATM, and so they're letting you purchase and exchange crypto in that means, but it's all digital. So I do think that again, the dollar is going to still be around. It's just going to be in the way that you can only exchange and purchase digital. So like your card is going to really be a hot commodity now. There's actual Bitcoin visas right now. So I get the question of, can I actually use my Bitcoin to make regular, like real life purchases in real life situations? So yes, you can buy a car, you can buy a house, you can purchase online, certain things. If you have a, certain means of exchange with Bitcoin, people accept crypto, so, my guy Marquise has a POS system, for that. There's various different ways to do it that don't even require POS. You can just go to the website, scan a QR code online, or even have your wallet address, which is like if anybody has Cash App, it's like a Cash App ID, and you can send somebody anything person to person. So there's so many different ways to do it. That's almost being integrated like how PayPal is right now. You can purchase something online for your card, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, but you also got PayPal. You can click and log in and pay that way. But see, there's also going to be options to use crypto in that same kind of way, where you can scan a code from your phone, like Apple Pay, and boom, you made that payment, you made that purchase. So,
and do the creators of these systems make money in the same way, same traditional way? Like they'll take a very small percentage of the transaction, goes to their pocket, and I guess in the same way, does portion of it come from the buyer, portion come from the seller? How does that work? And how is it better for us, the general public? Like, and I understand exactly what you mean. I cannot remember the last time I paid cash for gas or anything like that. Like, I don't carry cash on me. It's all about my card. So we're used to a card. And it is so interesting that you said there's a Bitcoin ATM now. So it's clearly growing. But in my mind, it still feels unstable. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like as a novice, I still feel like someone out there can do something to affect my wealth if I had a lot of Bitcoin. And I've heard of people, like you talked about, having sort of like the keeping your money almost like a personal bank. You keep it on a flash drive or whatever, but people lose those or forget their password. I heard of someone, and that might just be social media stuff that I've heard, but you can, is it real?
I'm gonna tell you my own story where I actually had a few Bitcoin that I had on a ledger key that I moved. This was when I was 22. I was 22, so 2012 or 2013. You know, I would just moved out my apartment, and I had my USB key of about a couple Bitcoin. It was more than 5 Bitcoin in there, and I lost it. I couldn't find it. To this day, I'm like, you know, what could I have done with that key? That's probably worth a couple $100,000 right now.
Wow.
And so,
You know,
can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
Which actually your time frame about 5 to 10 years. That's what I've been hearing consistently across the board with everyone that talks about this, because we just had a discussion about this in my management class. But actually, I'm taking a blockchain course.
Okay.
In the fall, and one of the things that has happened with blockchain to deal with what happened to you is they have now, or there's some platforms that have set it up so that even if you lose it,
they can reconcile.
Say it again.
They can reconcile it and bring it back.
Exactly, because it's almost like a fingerprint. It's like imprinted just to the person who initially started the ledger and set it up, and then it just goes to the other end. So if the other person that's in your transaction stream, let me use that terminology, if they're not dealing with it, then nobody else can get their hands on it. So that's the good part about it, in terms of the way blockchain has developed. So now here's my question to you. In light of that 5 to 10 year time frame that we have before it really begins to become, quote unquote, entrenched in mainstream economics, what are some of the strategies that you suggest that we should be utilizing now to prepare so that we're not in the catch-up mode? By the time that 5-10 year period elapses, we're already either right there or ahead of the game.
That is such a great question.
I think that is awesome. Yes, sir. I think various different utilizations, and just staying hip to how they're being utilized. Because, you know, again, cryptocurrency is in my thoughts here to stay, not just in investing, but in utilization, you know, within different corporations. Because otherwise, there are certain banks who wouldn't want to try to incorporate certain means of cryptocurrency to their ledgers. So people are attracted to them because of their transaction speeds. Their transaction speeds are extremely fast. And so that's what makes it very attractive. So I would say for those who are trying to stay in the know, learn about different means of transactions. You know, one of the first things somebody should do with learning cryptocurrency is exchange from person to person. Learn what that exchange is like. Also being diverse in the way you learn it. You know, understand a little bit about NFTs and tokens, you know, and, you know, understanding how they work in different industries. You know, why do people sell art with NFTs? You know, why do people, you know, go into, you know, trying to learn about these, you know, small $5,000 coins? You know, why do people keep on creating these new coins? But I'd say the plan is getting to know the lingo, but getting to know how to make transactions. Because more than just investing, these are going to be means of transactions. These are going to be ways that, for example, the Houston Rockets actually offer their apparel as with cryptocurrency as their form of payment. And one of their promos, they had hair. You know, you can buy jerseys. You know, we have a jersey on sale here. You know, we accept Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Litecoin. You know, and so these are their forms of payment. So I would say the long-term plan in the next 5 and 10 years is understand transactions, you know, understand the platforms, because there are new platforms coming out, but a lot of them are either offshore or not very secure. So I know one of the questions before was, what's a good platform to buy cryptocurrency? So there's crypto.com that I recommend as well. I'm gonna type that on the chat. So there's crypto.com. People like to go Coinbase. So I'm gonna say this: there are platforms that are great to buy cryptocurrency, not necessarily great to store and keep your cryptocurrency. So, for example, a Cash App, I would not keep $10 worth of Bitcoin in Cash App because of the way that you know, and I know what you stated earlier, sir, in terms of you know, feeling like, you know, at any moment the market's going to try to cave in itself with cryptocurrency. And the investing, where we call that a rug pull, you know, at any moment that rug could pull from under itself. And so, in a lot of ways, the platform you want to go to, you know, you want to be certain that they're secure. So I wouldn't use Cash App to store. Now, to buy crypto and immediately send it to an encrypted place, yes. But to store there, no, I wouldn't do it. But see, like now, a Coinbase.com. Coinbase, right? Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Darren is way too insecure. Now, Coinbase is another great place that's domestic to the States that you can purchase cryptocurrency. They're getting better with their security. I would still use, in my honest opinion, I'd store it in a cold wallet or cold storage, which is it's like the ledger key we talked about. So you know your cold wallets are going to be your USB or ledger keys. You know, so
and is that CODE?
Oh, COLD. So
COLD.
Absolutely, it's like a cold storage, and I'm gonna type that in as well. And then also there's Coinbase.com. That's also really good in terms of buying cryptocurrency. Now, I will say this too. There are a lot of platforms that have pretty decent hefty fees. We're talking 8-10% fees. And there's some that's 5, you know, per transaction. But I would say I'm gonna recommend, if y'all want to look into purchasing cryptocurrency, there are various ways to do it that can kind of cut your fees as well. So that's one thing about crypto. Crypto, they do hit some fees, I guess, because of the way they're encrypted. But yeah, there are fees. Now they say, Mr. Darren said, does Triple C have a collaborative? I can't read the rest of it. What did it say?
Does Triple C have a collaborative whereby individuals can learn about crypto from you all by way of hands-on learning?
Yes, sir. So our most previous event, we had an in-person event where so we actually had a full out rundown of, okay, how do we're gonna together purchase our first cryptocurrency. We're gonna walk through how to exchange cryptocurrency and use certain mobile apps. Now, there's certain mobile apps that have to use a KYC, like a know your client, and do like a certain verification. Now, we'll go through that process to help you get verified. It may take some time, but after that, we'll then go through the next steps. So we actually went through and walked through them hands on. It was really awesome because there was a 15-year-old there, and there was somebody who was a veteran there, and so from a while back, and I would say that was helpful for me because it helped me learn that there's different areas of learning this kind of industry that's going to help all those who are not as technically savvy and those who are. And so I would say we did have a very, very packed event, but we also kind of made it more interactive to where we also played some games, help them retain information, help them, go through and rehash or regurgitate what they've been learning from us. So when we do this, I would say we want to do it every month. So the next event we have is June 26th. So to give a little plug out there, June 26th, we're going to have another event in Charleston, South Carolina for the Carolina Crypto Collab in Charleston. It's going to be from 2 to 5, but it's going to be also a mixer. So we're going to have a little bit of a decent event. I'm going to go through some basic detail to help them understand the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows of crypto. But also we're going to go through some advanced content for those who are a novice or trying to get through the advanced side of understanding cryptocurrency as well.
Pastor Darren is here practicing witchcraft because everything I'm about to ask you, he puts it out there just before I say it. So he just put out there, is there a way that we can watch this and participate virtually?
Yes, sir. We're going to stream it live. We're going to stream it live. Absolutely. We are going to stream. So we also going to the point of contact is myself, but also we have our own personal email, carolinacryptocollab@gmail.com as well. But as far as a personal direct contact, you can always contact me. Or we have a board of about 7 to 12 people, actually 7 to 8 people. But we got a team of 12, but we got a decent board of people who are handling bookkeeping and doing different things as far as event planning and things of that nature. We got that in place, but you can always contact me. I'll be glad to help any way I can. So yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's right. You know, but definitely, you know, that's something that I really appreciate because, you know, we want to have those often so that we keep the momentum going. But also because it's something that's a demand. I feel like it's a demand. So one of my guys just put in the group, and so somebody keeps asking as well, how much do you have to invest? So that I would say that depends on your own financial goals and planning. Now, I would say, yeah, because I really tread lightly on what I want to tell people on how much, because it depends. It depends on your own personal goals. You know, anybody could, you know, get in with a smaller ticket amount or a higher amount. But I would say before you even try to put any money into cryptocurrency, learn everything you can about it first. You know, don't just blindly go into it. You know, you want to. I always say, like, you know, with investing in anything, you want to have an enter and exit strategy. You know, you don't want to just go into invest in something and you don't have a decent exit strategy on, okay, when am I pulling out of this movement, or what kind of percentage am I going to get ready to, you know, take profit on, you know? So to answer that question, I would say it's really based off of your own comfort zone. I don't want to advise on that. I just want to be careful with that. So yeah,
But
yep.
but I can let Louisa know this, that I've been investing in small increments. I set it up on Coinbase where I do weekly investments and I do small percentages, a small percent every week. Sometimes I add more or less, but I have I like say Bitcoin. You can set it to, if you want to put $30 a week, $40 a week, or whatever in there, and you can just buy chunks and chunks of investment. So
Absolutely.
you don't have to buy one Bitcoin that's worth $37,000. You can buy $20 worth of it and then just watch your investment increase.
That is absolutely right. That's right, cuz, because, you know, a lot of people say and tell me, hey, I don't have 35 grand, 37 grand to purchase a Bitcoin right now, especially when it was 60,000. They were like, bro, why are you talking about Bitcoin? I don't have $60,000. So, you know, it's all about gradually building. Like, you know, if anybody's trying to get into that now and wants at least one Bitcoin, just like what Vaughn said, you want to go into it gradually, you know, going through your comfort zone, but go into it gradually, because there's various different ways to use cryptocurrency. And I would say in that way, you want to go in increments. And then there's also what's called altcoins, ALT, altcoins. Altcoins are the Ethereums, Litecoins, Trons, Dogecoins of the world. Now there's other coins. One of my guys just put it in the chat a little while ago, tokenomics. So that's another key word that I'm going to type in as well. So tokenomics, that's actually the art of, you know, going into a smaller coin, a token that's not even a full, not even a full penny yet. And so that is where people invest into larger increments, but actually have a holding, and then they get penalized in some ways with a fee for selling too early. Well, not too early, I would say just altogether, the fee kind of is higher to redistribute to the holders. And so basically in tokenomics, it gives a little bit of a passive incentive to those who are still holding. For me, for example, I hold on to a few tokens that practice tokenomics. So if, you know, if I'm holding on to a couple million coins, and somebody like a big investor sells, a percentage of that holding or that sell off goes back to the current holders. And so
that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that is a sense of tokenomics there. And so I get paid out every month for that. You know how there's dividend paying stocks, you know, that pay out quarterly, but then there's also tokenomics in the crypto world that keep that coin stable. So if that helps. And also Mr. Darren said, so do you have a crypto mutual fund? So that is something that I feel like is going to be rolled out very soon. I do know that there are some Bitcoin ETFs, but in terms of mutual funds itself, like as far as like Robinhood, they're trying to integrate more things into the New York Stock Exchange and other entities or instruments of the market to collaborate. You know, because cryptocurrency is intriguing to a lot of different genres of the market right now. So I don't, to my knowledge, know anything that's been publicly been put into place quite yet. That's been doing into mutual funds, but I can see it happening very, very soon. No, Mr. Darren, I absolutely love questions, and so one of my guys, his name is Pete, or we call him James. He put LP. That's another thing that's really, really big in the cryptocurrency market, which is called a liquidity pool. So liquidity pool is very unique in the way that tokenomics is, where it gives you the opportunity to get a certain percentage or holding on the side of the coin that you own, but almost like a stake. You know how you purchase a stake or buy a stake of a crypto of a stock, and you get paid out a certain amount if you're a large investor or a large holder, if you have certain ownership. Liquidity pool almost has the same kind of function, but you have a certain platform that still pays you out a certain percentage. So you can purchase the multiple LPs. We call them LPs. You can purchase multiple of those at the same time to get a percentage of what you would call dividends. In the crypto world, we call them LPs. And so they almost are a similar action or function as you would like a dividend paying stock. So it's very, very interesting in that way. So I don't want to get too jargony. How do y'all feel? I got any questions on that?
I love it. It sounds like it is really, really developing into a real tangible system that anyone can get involved in and start to feel comfortable. I know it's going to take time for it to really fully develop. I have one question that I think is most important today is,
yes, sir.
Why aren't you somewhere looking for that disc that has your several $100,000? That would be my job, bro. I would be looking for that thing every single day, man.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard that question. I'd be turning Rock Hill upside down.
No, and you know what? I have only because now it's been hard to come by for some ways to try to get that reconciled. And so in terms of now, there are ways like Gentleman was saying, like there are ways to do it. But there's a guy that I know that can do it for a fee. And I don't mind it. But he'll do it. It's just we got to follow up on that. And so I got an old school thought, like it's in a USB, but also it has my blockchain. It's called a hash code in it. So I got to think about, okay, how is he going to bring that back from years ago? But now the technology is very, very unique where, what, as he was mentioning, it can be done. It's just, I got to follow through with making that happen now. And so, there is a way to make it happen. It's just, I consciously know that somebody's got that key in their hand worth that amount. And so
they don't even really know.
They don't even know it.
They don't know it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All
right.
But yeah. I'll be turning it upside down. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's a whole different world. The cryptocurrency market is a whole world in itself.
And there's so much to learn. And we as people are always so behind. We're still behind in regular financial matters. Never mind, there's new information that's coming on and new ways for investing, and if we don't get involved soon, we're gonna once again find ourselves so far behind everybody else, and we're gonna be lacking. And not just Black people in general, but when it comes down to investing, even Black folks in church. I remember growing up. I grew up in Pentecostal church, and some people felt that just investing in the stock market, it was playing the numbers. It was like
gambling.
It was gambling, and a lot of people were discouraged from getting involved. And just put your money in the bank and get that tiny little
and pay your tithes.
You're gonna get. Yeah, exactly. And pay your tithes and put the rest in the bank and pay your bills, and don't worry about trying to play the top, just do anything with the stock market. That's what they call it, playing the stock market, like you were just shooting dice on the corner or something like that. So so we've always been behind, and we and we just need to. We need to educate ourselves so that we can do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pastor, you crazy, man.
I think that's all it is because, yes, sir. Because I think that's all it is because again, there's a lot of different walks of life that are trying to learn things like this. But again, this wasn't taught in our schools, and so I had to go into an outside source to even learn this, and so in a lot of ways, in the beginning, I was saying I had to be teachable. I got to continue to be teachable. I had to go out and get mentors and people who would kind of show me and walk me through different processes, because there's not cryptocurrency 101, you know, in most institutions.
Right.
You know, there's certain things you got to do outside to learn these kind of things, you know. So yeah, it's a whole different world. And you know,
Yeah.
there's one part of the world that's with it. There's one part that's completely against it and want to centralize it as much as possible, you know.
Right. Right. No, I get it. Randy, you've been real quiet, man. You don't have no questions for us at all.
No, I'm just laughing at Vaughn. What Vaughn said, I said that it's like that until we find out how much money you made from it. Now they want to borrow it.
Right.
Borrow it.
Once the church find out how much you made from it, now you gotta make sure you pay your tithes.
Pay that 10%, baby. I love it. No, EJ, this has been really, really, really great, man. Very enlightening. I would love to set up some time to connect with you. I know the other brothers are very interested as well. So, and I don't know how this. Do you work with young people? Do you work with?
I absolutely do. Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I sat down with a 13-year-old and helped them understand NFTs. I thought that was amazing. It helped them understand, you know, how to exchange cryptocurrency. Now he's going back to his mom talking about decentralized cryptocurrency, you know, and I think that's important. But not just that, but just understanding what we're getting ready to transition into, you know, because, you know, still understand regular economics, but know integrate where we're going into now in the digital world, you know. So still understand how the importance of credit, you know, how to you know, properly budget and, you know, the proper financial literacy and money management, but also understand certain investing tools too. So I do think that that's very important. So yeah, you know, I do speak to youth in that way as well, and that's what our organization wants to be very, very impactful on too. Yes, sir.
That's excellent. And then Pastor Darren, and you probably see his question.
Yep.
Can I get you to do a workshop presentation for our church?
I could, absolutely. Yes, sir. That'd be great. I'll be glad to. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're looking to do, man. We're looking to expose more of our community to this. I really, I know that overall we want to get this information to as many people as possible, but the idea of the Black community, especially with more focus being on supporting Black business, you know, Black Wall Street and all of this, I definitely can see a particular coin or currency that would be sort of specific to the Black community. I don't see why it wouldn't really take off. I know people are skeptical at the moment, but it's something that, in my mind, should really take off if we were to sort of really focus on that. I just think it would be good. And I'm sure that's a conversation that you guys have had already.
Absolutely. And you know, especially these last few weeks, I've seen people invest in cryptocurrency that I've never seen invest before. But I don't, you know, knock it because, you know, they're not really educating. I just feel like I'm glad that they're doing it now, you know. And now let's go ahead and get them more educated to the process so that they don't get hit with the FOMO feeling, the fear of missing out, you know, like get them educated first, because there's a lot of people who fell into that FOMO line and, you know, with certain cryptos, you know, in the wrong platform they're investing into. It kind of was on hold for a while, and they got discouraged, say, "Oh, I'm not investing in that anymore." But had they kind of done some more due diligence and research, you know, that kind of been more secure. So, you know, I'm glad they are, so that we can kind of be more mindful of how to lead them through the right direction going forward. So, absolutely, yeah, we're all for that, and I'm excited for that as well, because that's how we grow together.
That's excellent. So at this point, I know we're about to get off. We're right around 5:30, so I know we're going to end in a moment. But so for me, at this point, it sounds like Coinbase.com is a good place to sort of start if we're looking to, you know. And I love your model, Vaughn. I love the way that you explain what you're doing. You set it up to where you buy little increments at a time, and you watch it grow. Sometimes you give a little more, sometimes you may give a little less, but I love that. And you do all of that through Coinbase, right?
That's correct. I do it through Coinbase. That's how I have it set up, and I invest in several different coins through Coinbase.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
but
Okay.
but I did do Doge through Robinhood, which you're against. I did do Doge
Yeah.
through Robinhood.
No, that's cool. That's cool because it's not a terrible platform. It's just not the most compatible one, and so there are other ones that are a little bit better, a little bit easier to also sell from because Robinhood had the kind of uproar because people couldn't really sell when they wanted to, and that's the thing. When you
Right.
invest in something and it's up, there's a whole volume of sellers trying to cash out, and that causes a little bit of a halt at times. It can cause it to be congested. So I definitely think Coinbase is great. Also, Crypto.com is great too.
Okay.
But there's various other apps that you can also purchase other coins from. So yes, Bitcoin is great to get into to start, but then there's also, for me, in my opinion, I love altcoins, and so
Oh,
those are the ones that are constantly evolving. Bitcoin is here; it's did its thing. Now there's the other coins that are kind of saying, okay, Bitcoin did this, y'all. Let's roundtable and see what can we do to make a better coin, more established, more stable coin. So then there's these others coming out that are of a smaller cost. You can have actually more of a quantity of, So that's
and
that's that's my thought.
is that sort of comparable to investing in penny stocks when you're talking about coins that are just coming out and
Yes, sir.
developing, and they have
Right.
a higher higher possibility of going up?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
You think about a new IPO that just went public. You think about the more established stocks out right now. You want to either invest into Tesla that's already
Uh-huh.
made its establishment, but then you have Coinbase that just went public, or another small another penny stock that went public recently, and so something like that. You kind of want to decide which is going to be more conducive for your financial planning. But for me, I like to get larger quantities so that I can hold on to the ones that may be sleepers, the ones that may get to a penny, so things
Right.
like that, so the ones that are still growing, they may not grow in the ways in the rate that a Bitcoin did or an Ethereum did, but if it can at least get to $1 or to 50 cent,
Right.
and you have a larger quantity, I'm no mathematician, but that's kind of how I think about it, so I tend to look at larger quantities, coins, smaller opportunities, because those tend to be the sleepers. But also, yes, yeah, absolutely, Miss Louisa. Crypto.com for beginners, absolutely. But yes, that's what I would look for, and then also what's called ledger keys, LEDGER keys, and so
Keys.
those are ledger keys that are good for offline storage, cold storage. Those are great.
Ledger keys. Okay. All right. Excellent. So listen. So what we do every week before we end, we go around and have everybody get their last words. EJ, I'm gonna save you for last. All right. Because I want
Yes,
you
sir.
to give your last words at the end. Randy, you haven't had much to say, so I'm gonna start with you. Give your last words for today, man.
Yeah, I'm just blessed to be here. Just blessed to be listening. There's a lot of information to take in, and to swallow, and to understand. Especially when it comes to something new. You kind of like want to swallow the fence because you don't know. But if ever I decide, or my wife and I decide to try to jump on that, then we know we have some people who we can
Right.
talk to.
Exactly.
If your guys fail, then I know I'm not going that way. I'm not going. But if yours decides to succeed, then I'll be like, let me jump on that. So I'm gonna be one of those that stand in the background and look.
I got you, baby. I hear you, man. I hear you, and I'm not mad at you either, man. So I asked about teaching young people because we have children. I have young children, and I know that this is going to be a part of their existence and their life going forward. So I would love, even if I am hesitant or slow to move on this because of just who I am and what I know about money, and I want them to be prepared and equipped. So we can learn this together and start.
Yeah, and I mean that's a real good thing, because, like I said, coming up, like I said, I'm like the elder statement, as Pastor always say, and but when you coming up, we don't learn about this stuff,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So you don't learn. So it's good to start teaching, your children to learn about investing and what to look out for, so they can increase their capitals and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So it's always good to try to put that in their mind, to teach them about wealth. Like I said, coming up, you didn't learn all that kind of stuff, and how to go about and maneuver and things like that. So, this is good. I'm glad that we have my brother here that's have knowledge on all this stuff.
Right.
So, and so like I said, if you ever decide to go that route, then I know where to reach out to. I know Pastor Darren is always got his hands and stuff,
and everything,
stuff like that. So
absolutely.
So you look out for people like that. Like you always say, you get wise, you get smarter, and get going, or something like that.
Right.
And so that's what you need to do.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks, Randy. Thank you very much. Pastor Darren, you're next, man. What's your last words for today, man? Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. You were muted. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to snack something real quick because my stomach was turning in there.
I hear you, baby.
But first thing I want to say is, Vaughn, thank you so much for sharing with us your cousin. When Alan had said he wasn't going to be able to make it, I thought we were going to, I didn't know the show was going to be able to go on, and it feels like we didn't miss a beat.
Not at all.
So Vaughn, thank you so much. Whatever Alan brings to the table, it will just amplify and expand it even more.
Absolutely.
And then, Brother EJ, thank you so much for even coming along and sharing with us what you had to say. It's just been awesome. And it's actually been a primer, again, because of the class I'm getting ready to take this fall. And I feel like I got just a real good foundation to sort of kind of be ahead in September when I take this class. And we're going to be reaching out to you, man, because I want to see if you can, just share with our church this information. And, just to speak to what Randy said, I seem to have my hands in everything. Well, nowadays as a pastor, you have to, because the people that you're trying to lead, they got so much that they're contending with, that if you're going to be able to be a positive influence on them in some kind of way, you got to have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the world somewhat.
Right.
You can't know everything, obviously, but you at least need to have an idea. And for me, this has some really, really critical significance when we look in the scriptures. And what we see happening with this is a literal unfolding of the book of Revelation right before our eyes. And so I think it really behooves us as Christians to really, really pay attention and to see, how we can get involved. And this gives us a live illustration of what the Bible is telling us is coming, because I think it's only a matter of time before this kind of currency becomes the currency of the day, because of some of the things that we've been told are going to happen. Right. So it really behooves us to know as much as we can about this. Like Thurston, I'm like you. I tend to err a little bit more on the side of caution.
Right.
But at the same time, I need to have some level of experience with what's going on, so I can be much more effective as a leader in the kingdom.
Right.
So, Brother EJ, thank you so much, man. This was really, really awesome. I hope I didn't harass you and who is this guy with all these questions? You were so patient. You were so patient, man, and so ingratiating. And I really appreciate it. And we're really going to be reaching out, man, because I want to really, really expose you to our church, and just kind of turn you loose. And thank you again so much, Thurston. Thank you so much for this platform.
Awesome.
My brother, Pastor Randy, good to see you. And The Apostle Vaughn, good to see you too. Love you guys. To those of us who are watching, Sister Portia, Sister Louisa,
yeah,
those who came along with Brother EJ, Brother James. God bless you all and heaven smile upon you.
Thanks, Darren. Thank you so much, man. And so, Vaughn, I'm gonna come to you in a moment, but I wanted to do the same thing. I definitely wanted to shout out James Allen Thompson. Thank you for coming on, supporting your boy, but also sharing with us as we go along with your input and your comments. Brother Rob Bob, appreciate you too. Thank you guys for coming on. Actually, Rob Bob was on here. The Carolina Crypto Collab, right? That's the name.
Sir. Yes, sir.
It's wonderful. And of course, all of our regulars. But Vaughn, I left Luisa's question up so you can answer it, and then you can give your last words.
Do you have to give your bank information when doing this? Well, if you're going to invest, you're going to have to give them your information in order to process the
transaction.
Transaction. That's the word.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
KYC.
So the process of transaction, you're going to have to give in your banking information, just as if you were doing it with making any kind of purchase anywhere online.
Right. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And then your last words for today.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank my cuz for coming on, for not only saving the show because Alan wasn't here, because Alan's the only one here that has some knowledge, real knowledge of crypto, but you came in and gave us so much information that we're gonna have to watch the show again just to retain it all. But I just want to thank you for that, and just want to let you know how proud I am of you. I've been watching you from a distance for all this time, and watching it and seeing you make moves and seeing the things you've been doing. And I'm just wanted to tell you how I'm proud of you as your cousin and just as a black man doing what you're doing.
Yes.
We have so much to learn, and I'm so looking forward to learn. And we need to know this not only, as Pastor Darren saying, for in the spiritual realm and things that we know biblically, but we also need to know just for the natural, just to have enough sense of what's going on and be able to make moves for our own well-being and not be so far behind as we habitually always happen to be. And I'm just grateful that I have someone that I know that I can look to, and I definitely will be looking to you and hitting you up individually just to get some pointers on this.
Absolutely.
So once again, I just want to thank you. I want to thank also your other partners at the collab for what they're doing as well. And we definitely need some other brothers out there pushing it amongst our own community. And I'm just hoping that that you guys are the launching pad.
Most definitely. Yeah, and I thank you all for just the opportunity of being here. There's so much that we can do in the community. And me growing up and being raised in the church, we have a lot to do in the kingdom too. So there's a lot that in terms of my calling, I feel like it's to the outreach, it's to the community. And so and my dad knows that. He knows that my outreach is beyond the four walls as our ministry is. So we're again in Rock Hill, South Carolina. He's the head pastor, Bishop Eric Gilead Sr. So I got to say and give him his credit now, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And so just to be real, to be honest, he's the person who was the catalyst to help me keep this drive. And so he came from Wall Street. And so learning that world, I had to understand what I needed to do to push myself. And so a lot of things that were grounded in me and taught within me is from my mom and pop. I had to learn how to understand certain things within myself. This investing journey is a personal journey, and so for me, there's a lot of emotions that go into investing. So mentally, you got to have a certain fortitude to be able to withstand certain things and be able to cope with certain things in this world, because either you're going to make or break, within this kind of industry. And so it's not for the faint of heart, but also you got to be prayed up to be in this kind of world, So I definitely appreciate you all for the opportunity, for just letting me be here. If there's anything that I can do or the team can do in any collaboration, let us know. And we also we do have a bit of our team in various locations. So we do have a team member, Rob, who's currently in New York City right now. So although we're Carolina Crypto Collab, we got, Rob is in New York City. So we plan on taking a trip there, doing an event there too. So, so definitely.
Yeah, don't be surprised, Eric, if you're going to be doing something up here soon.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And finally for me, man, again, EJ, we appreciate you so much, man. Taking time out of your schedule to come and sit with us brothers and really explain to us something that we are pretty much novices about, as we've said over and over. We don't know this world, but as I'm sure you've heard, we try to view everything from a biblical worldview. Not that we overdo it, but it's just who we are. So that's what we do as we talk. But we understand we need to talk about love, sex, marriage, money, current events, sports, whatever it is. We come together every week and we just discuss it, just like brothers sitting around, brothers like us. We sit around and we discuss it all. But these are the things that we find are important, especially for kingdom-minded people, that we are not so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good, right? And so everything that we're discussing here, the thing that kept coming to mind for me is this is Christ in culture. That's the thing that that pastor taught that really caught my ear when I first came to CCC. Christ in culture, Christ in culture. Bringing our worldview into the culture that we live in, not compromising who we are as Christians, but really amplifying who we are in the culture and making it better. So this is real Christ in culture work. I salute your father for allowing you and not holding you back, but really pushing you forward in this calling, because he sounds like a very progressive pastor. I love progressive pastors, man. I really do. It makes a difference for all of us. So for me, it's just a wonderful thing. I definitely look forward to having you back, even if it's not live. Well, I'm sure it'll be live on the show again, but we have some other things in mind that we really want to take to our people, to the people that we interact with, especially young people. So thank you. Thank your partners, all the listeners, everyone that chimed in today, Louisa, Portia, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Please share the information with anyone. Tell them to go back and watch it. They can find it on our YouTube page, Living Out Loud Radio. And you can even find replays on our other Facebook page, LOL Radio TV. And we look forward to continuing this conversation, EJ. Thank you again. We love you, brother. We're praying for the return of your couple of $100,000.
Yes.
For real. That is a real prayer. Man, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to tell Vaughn that I figured that out. It's probably the reason why he hadn't found it, because he's sitting on a fortune and don't want the family to know.
We just talked about that last week. Like, what would you do? What would you do if you won the lottery?
So he ain't really had time to find that extra 100,000 because he don't miss it.
I got other means to offset it. Yeah.
But that's it, man. Listen, I love you guys as always, man. It's nothing like Sundays at 4:00, brothers like us just coming together to chop it up about whatever's going on. We love you guys, and for everyone that's listening, until we see you again, don't just endure life, but embrace it and live it out loud. We love you. God bless you.
Peace, brothers. Love you, EJ.
All right. You too, cuz. Thank you all.